Hey guys! So the other day when I said I was going to film my introduction video for my first official vlog, I did, and it turned out to be like an hour-long video. So I was going to try to edit it and take some stuff out, but the way it was like explaining everything, it was really hard to take pieces out from it. So instead of putting you through an hour-long video that I know no one's going to watch, I decided to re-film my introductory video and not make it an hour long. So you're welcome for making a new one and not putting you through an hour of me rambling on. So, anyways, if you follow me on Instagram, my name is Cassidy C Fit. My name is Cassidy, like no surprise from the name. I am 19 right now. I'm turning 20 in March. So, yeah, I'm not going to be a teenager anymore. That's a little sad and scary, but So besides lifting, well, first of all, for lifting, I'm a national NPC bikini competitor. So I did my first show in August of 2013, and then so I was 17 at the time, and then I did my second show, which was the Orlando Europa in 2014, and I placed fourth out of like 35 women. So I was super excited. I was totally not expecting even to like get first call outs. I put my all into the prep, and I thought I looked my best. I put on a lot of muscle since my first show because I took like a 6 month long off season and made a lot of like newbie gains. So I had a totally different physique, but yeah, so I was super proud of that, and that qualified me for nationals. So I ended up doing Junior USA's like 4 weeks later in South Carolina to compete for my pro card. And I knew obviously like I wasn't going there like expecting to win my pro card because I was so young. I was only 18 at the time, and or so was I? Yeah, I was 18 at the time, and and it was only my third show, but I actually did really well, and I was super surprised. I placed in the top 15 out of like 40 women, so I was super happy because all of them, of course, like look amazing. Like they're all going to win their pro cards, so um, it was really cool, and it was a really great experience. My coach at the time for those shows was Brittany Tacey. She's an IFBB pro and a really good friend of mine. She's super sweet, and so follow her on Instagram. Her name is like at Brittany Tacey Fit, or I forget, but just search Brittany Tacey because you'll find her. Um, and then after my shows, I worked with Paul Revelia for my reverse diet over like a year. So if you guys hear me ever like talk about Instagram like reverse dieting or kind of like that aspect of nutrition, I worked with Paul for like a good, I want to say like, I don't know, a good 8 months. Like from, I literally started working with him like the day after my show, because I didn't want to rebound. I wanted to like transition to my off season the right way. So we reverse dieted. I started at like 1,500 calories. I think was like my lowest during prep, or like 1,450, something around there. And then we ended up getting up to like 2,200 a day, and then I ended up just wanting to coach myself because I was still kind of mentally struggling a little bit with like I got really obsessive with like the scale and checking in and that kind of stuff, like obsessed with like my weight like moving, like I would freak out if my weight was up a pound or whatever. So because I knew maybe my food wouldn't be increased or whatever. So I ended up taking on my own coaching myself because yeah, I know nutrition enough to coach myself. I have a couple of clients myself as well, so I mean I knew the ins and outs of kind of what to do. So I took on my own nutrition coaching, and I've been doing my own nutrition ever since. And now currently my calories are around 2,450. I was at 2,500 calories a day at 130 pounds, and then I cut for my powerlifting meet, which I do powerlifting as well, so I'll get into that in a second. And I cut down to 122 pounds. I was in the 123 weight class. I ended up weighing in a pound lighter than I need to be. And then from there, I've been reverse dieting back up for my mini cut. So I added in about 90% of my original caloric intake to start off my reverse again. So I started off at 2,250 calories after my mini cut, and I was maintaining well. Like I mean, of course, I gained a couple pounds back because I had like cut my water and stuff. So it's naturally like when you start putting carbs and water back on your body, you're gonna gain a couple pounds back. And so now I'm around like 125 pounds, just depending on the day. Sometimes I'm 125, 126, and I'm eating 2,450 calories a day. And now I've been increasing and maintaining weight, so I'm going to keep on reverse dieting and push my calories even higher if I can. So it's cool. I'm like 5 pounds less than I was, pretty much eating the same amount of calories a day. And before, when I was eating 2,500 a day, it was only on my training days, and then my off days were like 2,250. Whereas now, when I reversed back this time, I found out what my average daily caloric intake was, and then reversed from there 90%. So I took 90% of my average. So now I'm eating 2,450 a day, whether it's training or non-training. I don't have different macros now for my different days, because I go by more like a weekly average. So I'm 5 pounds less, eating pretty much more than I was before. So I'm super excited about that. So that's kind of like where I'm at bodybuilding wise. I'm in my off season. I've been since my last two shows. So I've pretty much been off season for like almost 2 years now, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I love my training. I'm more motivated than ever actually now, just because I know I'm improving for my shows. I'm powerlifting as well. I competed in 2 powerlifting meets so far during this off season. I am a powerlifter. I compete in the 123-pound weight class, or the 56 kg weight class. So I've done a meet. I did a meet the end of 2014. I competed at FAU in Boca with a bunch of friends from Tampa, which was really cool. Karina Noboa, we competed together there, and I love her. She's like a sister to me, so it was really awesome getting to compete with her. And Lane Noren was there. Paul Revelia, my coach at the time, he was still coaching me then, so he was there competing. Who else? We saw Will Grizone. He was my boyfriend's coach at the time for his bodybuilding shows. We got to see them, him and Tanya, and Ariana and the baby. They're all so cute. I love that family. I like stalk their Instagram. So, Will, if you're watching this, just know that I stalk you and Tanya, because I love your family. You guys are awesome. And anyways, so that was a really awesome experience. I ended up getting a 192-pound squat, a 121 bench, and a 237 deadlift, and my numbers were a lot lower, not a lot lower, but they were lower than like what I originally was like planning for. But when I was warming up, I think this was my first meet, I was kind of nervous. When I was warming up, like, everything kind of felt heavy, and I didn't want to, like, miss a lift on my first meet, just because, like, your first meet is like your first experience of like powerlifting, and I wanted to go 9 for 9. I wasn't like aiming to break a record or anything, and at that point in time I was actually only 117 pounds lifting, so that was pretty cool. I still like lifted very well for my body weight. But my squat, I had squatted 200 in the gym like 2 weeks prior, so that was a little like, less than I wanted. I wanted more like I think I was going for like a 215 squat around there, and I only ended up with 192, but it's okay. My deadlift and my bench were both PRs for me, so that was awesome. I also pulled conventional then. I know if you guys watch my like lifting videos, I pull sumo now, and I have been for like ever since actually I got done with that meet. Like, so I think I've been pulling sumo for like a year now or something. So I like it a lot better. It just works a lot better for my body. I have very long limbs, like legs. So for me, it's a lot more comfortable. It's a lot less like taxing on my back and my hips. And I have a shorter range of motion, which is always a benefit for powerlifting. And I'm just able to handle more load, sumo versus conventional. So that's why I'm sumo, and also for bodybuilding reasons, it targets more of your glutes and hamstrings, so you get more of the load on your glutes and hamstrings versus conventional. So that's that. Besides lifting, I want to talk about, like, I'm going to only make this video like 5 minutes longer, so you're not here for like ever, so I'll kind of jumble my whole life in like 5 minutes. Lifting is like just a part of my life. It's not my whole life. Like, I know a lot of you that follow me, I've been posting more personal stuff now. But when I first made my Instagram, it was totally a personal account, and then I turned it into like a fitness account, and I was only really posting fitness stuff because my account wasn't on private. I just felt like weird posting not fitness related things because I was not on private, and I don't know, I didn't want people like knowing too much about my personal life. So, and at that point in time, I was very like engulfed in like fitness and the industry, and I kind of like made it my whole life when it really wasn't. And I don't know, I kind of had like tunnel vision, I guess you can say, and it was I don't know. I guess now like I'm so much more balanced. I have like a ridiculous amount of balance now in my life. Just with everything, like I'm totally not tunnel visioned anymore. I mean, I am on my goals, but like overall, like I'm very balanced. So now I've been sharing a lot more personal stuff, especially stuff about my faith. I am very, very, very strong in the Lord. I have a strong relationship with God. I have since I was very little. My parents brought me up in a Christian school. I was exposed to the Holy Spirit and like encounters with the Lord when I was like 5. I actually, a little bit about me, I was diagnosed with petit mal seizures when I was 5, and I had them from ages 5 to 7. And I would get like 30 a day. And what they are is basically the seizure, you pretty much black out for like a good, I don't know, like 20 seconds, and like you have no recollection of what's going on. It's like you could be walking down the street or something, crossing the street, and all of a sudden you black out and your eyes roll in the back of your head, and like it's your brain waves stop, is what it is. So they stop briefly for like a 15 to 20-second period. So when I was little, around that age, like I couldn't really be a normal kid. I had to be like, walked everywhere, had people hold my hand. I couldn't play on the playground. I couldn't do any sports or anything because I never knew when I was going to have one. I used to like literally get like 30 a day. And at the same point in time, my mom's employee's son had water on the brain, and they had to do surgery on him, but the chances of him making it through the surgery at that point were not high because he had a lot of water on the brain. He was very young, and it was just a very, very risky surgery. And my mom, being very strong in her faith, she prayed to the Lord in church, just begged him for both of our healings. And the very next day, I had no seizures ever again. Like, I was on heavy medication at the time for the seizures, and the doctors had to pull me off all the medication. Like, they even tried to induce me with seizures, and I wouldn't have one. So that was an amazing miracle, and I knew, like my mom explained to me that it was God that healed me. And so, I knew from then. And then her employee's son went in for a scan on his head, and he had no water on the brain at all. It was gone. So it was an absolute miracle. So that's why my faith is so, so strong, is because I've seen the Lord work, in my life like so strongly. And I've developed a really, really amazing relationship with him. And I just want that for other people, because people don't, it's not religion. It's seriously just a relationship with the Lord, and He's really so loving and just amazing. And I don't know, it's just prompted me to have a very different life than most people, and just my morals and everything. So like, that was harder for me, like growing up. Just more about my background in high school, like it was very hard for me because I had different morals than most people did in high school, and I didn't, go out and drink and party. I wasn't sleeping around with people. Like that just wasn't who I was. I was grown up, being very close to the Lord and obeying Him. And, I was super happy. I had so much joy in the Lord, so it's like, didn't feel like I was missing out or anything. That wasn't what I did. And then, I began lifting when I was, I think I just turned 16, and I started lifting. And so I was into lifting, into bodybuilding. I did go through an eating disorder in high school, so I will make a separate video on that, because it's going to be a long explanation kind of, and I really would like to share my story with that, because I did struggle for a long time with it, and it was very, very hard on me. But I'll make that a separate video, and I'll keep this just like a about me kind of video. But yeah, so I started lifting and competing in high school, so it was like very hard for me to fit in, like, because nobody lifted or anything at that time. So I was kind of the weird girl that had like, her chicken and broccoli, like bringing it to school, because at that point either I wasn't a flexible dieter, and like I didn't even know what that was. That wasn't even really popular at that time. So I was still on the Burrow diet, like clean eating. I didn't really like know about that. So that was hard. I wasn't close with anybody really in my high school. I was very close to people from my gym. So that's, I really developed a love for lifting. So that's kind of, how that turned out. And what else? So one of my other major passions is horseback riding. I've been riding since I was 9 years old, and I've had my horse Dusty since I was 12. So I've had him for a good 8 years now, almost. In April 27th, it'll be 8 years. So I love him to death. I used to compete in hunter jumper. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys that ride know what I'm talking about, but I used to compete in jumping. Basically, I'll leave it at that for like the people that don't really know about riding. and I got into a really bad jumping accident. My horse had actually gotten injuries on his legs, and we didn't realize that they were that bad. They were just like cuts on his legs, but we didn't, he had gotten out and like jumped a wire fence or something, but we treated them with medication and everything, but they didn't, he seemed fine, like he wasn't limping or anything. So I had been schooling him in the ring, getting ready to compete, and we were jumping, and like the final jump before I was about to leave the ring, he just couldn't jump anymore, and we were going at a fast canter up into the jump, and he just stopped. He couldn't physically jump the jump with his legs, so he stopped short, and I just flew over him and head first into the jump. So if I didn't have my helmet on, I would have died, because it was like the impact was so hard. And so the Lord was really there with me that day, because that was scary, and I had no brain damage or anything. I went and got scanned, and I was fine. But so I don't compete anymore, not just because of that alone, but because it just got really stressful. And it's like competing with bodybuilding and powerlifting is way different than competing with horseback riding. It's not different whether as there's a heavy politics in both, because they are both like subjective sports. They're not like, especially the type of riding I was doing, it's very subjective. It's not like you're, jumping for time or anything. It's like, you're being judged. So, they're, they're the same in that aspect, but the whole environment of a bodybuilding show and powerlifting meet versus like the horseback riding competition is, I don't know, it's like competing in bodybuilding and powerlifting doesn't really stress me out, whereas with riding, it really did. And it made me like feel like I couldn't just go to the barn and like enjoy my horse and like just give him a bath or something. I always felt like I had to like be constantly practicing for my competition, so it kind of just like took the fun out of it for me. And it is stressful because they are a wild animal, and you don't know how they're going to act on the day of the show, and there's so many things that can just go wrong. And so I just decided that I would just not compete anymore and just ride for fun, because I really do love riding so much, and I love my horse to death. And it's just, I'd rather be able to enjoy it and it not be stressful for me. So I don't compete in that anymore, but it's still like a major passion of mine. I still ride, as much as I possibly can. So, and I'm, with my horse at the time. So it's awesome, and I love him. So that's another part of my life, which I'll start posting him and stuff more. Like I said, I wasn't posting like really other things other than fitness for a long time, just because my account was like a fitness account. So now that it's kind of like, I want to make it more of like a personal account and like share my fitness life, obviously, but share other aspects of my life too. So my boyfriend is Matt Cuevas. You probably know him on Instagram as Facing Fear Fitness. And I'm sorry, this video will be 20 minutes long, not 15. That's better than an hour. So I'm going to finish up. But he's been such a blessing to my life. I'm so grateful for him. We actually met at the gym that we both train at. We train at like a city center gym. I don't, you guys have probably seen it, but it's awesome. There's a powerlifting room, and there's a powerlifting team there, and it's just a really awesome gym. Like we have our own like private powerlifting room, and it's like really, it's so awesome. So we met there because he worked there, and I started going there when I was like 15 or 16. We became like super close, like best friends. I mean, he was like my best guy friend ever. And we were close for a long time, and then we got into a really bad falling out. Just one of those things where like we both had feelings for each other and like never said anything, and the one person did something, and whatever. So like we both messed up. It was both of our faults, and we didn't speak for like 8 months, and then the Lord really put it on my heart to talk to him and fix things. So I went to his work, and we talked, and like 2 weeks later we were dating. So it all worked out. The Lord is good, and we've been growing super close to the Lord in our relationship and with each other. I just wanted to like point this out real quick. This ring that I wear on my finger is called a silver ring thing. Silver ring thing ring? I don't know. But basically, it's a promise that we made from the beginning of our relationship that we will stay abstinent until marriage. Me personally, that's something that I've always stuck with. Like, I've always, been faithful, wanting to be faithful to the Lord in that aspect. I'm not saying that like, we haven't been tempted or haven't, like struggled, because it definitely was a huge struggle. I'm not saying, we're like some, I'm not saying we're perfect, but, that, my virginity is something that I hold close to me, and that's like a huge part of me that, if you follow me, and, that I don't want people thinking that like, we're doing stuff and that, we're preaching about the Lord and then saying they're doing stuff. Like we're not, we're, holding true to our faith in the Lord and our relationship. So, yeah, that was another reason why high school was hard for me too, because like I said, I had way different morals than everybody else. So there was that. I kind of just stuck with lifting and got really close with people at the gym. Let's see. Kind of, okay, this might be a 25-minute long video, so don't kill me. I talk a lot and I'm sorry, and this is an introductory video, so it's going to be a little longer than any other videos, just so you can kind of like get to know the girl behind the Instagram. So Matt and I are starting a business called Muscle Munchies, and it's a high protein bakery company. We use natural ingredients that are very low calorie. Right now we have protein muffins, and we're launching sales next month in February, so I'm super excited. We've been working really hard. It's been a lot of like background paperwork, and people are asking me all the time, when are you selling these? And it's like, I keep saying, like, next month, like, sale release date's in February, so it is, I promise you. But it's not something we can't just all of a sudden go out and start selling. There's a lot of background work that goes into starting a business that a lot of people don't realize. So we're just right now building hype on social media, getting everything in order so that in February we can launch sales and it will be good, and hopefully you guys like it. We're coming out with cookies, brownies, all that kind of stuff down the road. Basically anything bakery item, we're making high protein, low calorie. That's the difference between us and like Lenny and Larry's. They're not going to be like 400 calories for a cookie. It's going to be like very low calories, so, and still all natural. So I'm really excited about that. That's been a huge venture. I never thought I would be starting a business at 19 years old with my boyfriend, like while still going to school. That's another thing. I'm in college right now for nutrition and dietetics. I'll be done with my associates in June. So from there, I got to figure out where I'm going to be transferring to, but I may wait a year because with this business, I mean, I'm very focused on that right now, and I can't just all of a sudden move away to a college, when we're starting a business. So that might be put on hold just for a little bit. I mean, I plan on, if I do go away, being like more the online branch of the business. So that would, so I can do it from over there too, wherever I end up going. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. What else? I am working on another personal project having to do with nutrition and training coaching for myself. So that's definitely, it's something that the Lord's really put on my heart and for a long time, and I definitely believe that that's why He's given me the passion for fitness and why I've also been through my eating disorder. So more details will come about that soon. I'm focusing more on Muscle Munchies just right at this moment, and then I'll put more focus into both. It's just a lot to handle, but I know I can do it with the Lord's help. So I'm not too scared. I'm not really that stressed out really about everything I have going on. I'm more like excited. So I don't know. It's a lot of work, but I'm excited. So as far as what I do for work right now, while I'm in school, I work at an LA Fitness smoothie bar, which I absolutely love. My boss, Holly, is amazing. I get to meet a lot of amazing people. I pretty much make protein shakes for meatheads all day. That's pretty much what I do. And I love it because I've met a lot of really awesome people at LA Fitness. I train there too. I pretty much train half and half at there, and then the gym that we go to at our city center. So when I have more like powerlifting training that I need, like, we have a lot of equipment at the Civic Center. Like Matt and I have we have a safety squat bar we bought that's there. We have our bands there. Pretty much everything there that you need for like powerlifting. So depending on what I'm doing, I'll either train at LA Fitness or there. So I love the job though. Like God's definitely brought a lot of people to me at work that like I've been able to talk to them about God with, or like, people that have increased my faith. I've got to meet a lot of just different fitness friends. So it's like, I really do love my job. So that would be really hard when I move away too, because I love that job. And, so yeah, what else? I'll give you some like my things I enjoy, like otherwise. I love singing. My dad's always been in bands like ever since I was born. I mean, he's been playing guitar and piano. Like he taught himself completely by ear since he was like 15, and he's like 50 now. So I've always grown up around music with him. I mean, like there's literally never a day when there's not like him playing guitar or piano or whatever. He actually just joined a new band. So like all I've been hearing lately is the songs he's practicing. So I love singing. He got me into singing. We sing a lot together, like dad and daughter, like we'll do songs together and stuff. So that's really awesome. Music is also a huge way of how I feel like I connect with the Lord really well. So that's like just a big passion of mine. I also like, I'm a really like to myself type person. Like I like really enjoy just having days where like I just go out and like kind of just have like a day to myself. Like I love Matt and I love my family, but like a lot of times I just like to like, I'll go out, to like Starbucks and work on my computer, maybe like I don't know, go like, spend time with my horse. I'll go and spend time with the Lord. I'll go and, I don't know, whatever it may be. I just like to have like, I'm a very like self-sufficient, like independent type person. So that's another thing about me. I don't know. I mean, I have probably a lot more to share, but it's already like 25 minutes into this video, so I should probably stop videotaping. I love food. I do it with Fit Your Macros, flexible dieting. I eat mostly whole foods though. But I do fit in things I love too. Like, I mean, I'm not like, I went to IHOP yesterday with one of my good friends, Ellie. She's a powerlifter too. So if I can figure out how to like put words on the screen, I'll like link her Instagram on here as well as my boyfriend's and whoever else I talked about in this video, I will link them if I can. So we went to IHOP yesterday. I got French toast, which was amazing. And so I did and I have a lot of calories like to spare. Like sometimes when I post food, people like ask me like, how do you eat that and like not starve the rest of the day? Like my calories are high. Like I'm pretty much at like 2,500 calories a day, and I only eat like 4 meals a day, like big meals. So for me, going out to IHOP and getting a 700 calorie like French toast meal like takes nothing out of my day. Like it literally like it's like if I didn't eat that sometimes like I wouldn't even eat enough because like I don't really have that big of an appetite like ever. Like I actually do eat a lot of caloric dense foods, mainly like in the form of whole foods, but like I'll make a shake with like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, a ton of fruit, like honey. Like I don't know, I'm not usually ever hungry, so like I don't really eat a lot of like high volume foods other than like salads. Like I'm obsessed with salads, and that's like I don't know, the way like I get a lot of my micros in. So yeah, so anyways, if you see me posting like really high calorie like foods like that, like I only eat 4 times a day. I don't eat like 5 to 6 times a day. So most of my meals to make up my 2,500 calories for the day like are very caloric dense, and they don't take like anything out of my day. So it's my metabolism, I've gotten my metabolism up to be able to handle that much food every day. So and I'm trying to push it even further through this reverse diet. And right now, my body's responding really well. When I came off of my mini cut for my powerlifting meet, my body was just like it was processing macronutrients like so well. It was ridiculous. Like I remember I weighed in at 122 like that whole weekend, like carbing up for the meet and like all day on the meet day. Like I literally ate probably like 5,000 calories a day. I felt like I ate a ton of food, and I woke up the morning after my meet at the same exact weight I weighed in at. So it's my body just handles food very well, and I've had a ton of untracked days during this reverse. So it's not like don't get discouraged if you're reverse dieting. And like you have untracked days. Like literally I probably had just as much untracked days as I've had tracked days throughout this entire like last 3 months with Thanksgiving, Christmas, just like weddings we've been to, whatever, like just anything. I probably had just as much untracked days, but what I do is I know in my head like the amount of calories I have, and I know how to like eyeball things. So it, you know what I'm saying? Some of the times I probably was under my calories or over, and like it all balances out. So as long as you're like stick to portion sizes, like you'll be fine, I promise you. So anything else about me? I have a cat named Blackjack, and I love him to death. He is like my little fur baby, and I love him, even though sometimes he doesn't want to be around me. But most of the time, he's super loving, and he loves me. My training is power building. I train with Josh Bryant. He's a very famous powerlifting and bodybuilding coach, extremely smart. He's written like 4 or 5 books. He has like been an amazing mentor to me. Like he seriously, we talk about the Lord together. We talk about lifting. Like he's helped Matt and I with our business. He's literally had calls with us about our business just to like help us. He's an extremely knowledgeable guy. He's like seriously been the best mentor to Matt and I. And his training is amazing. He's taught me so much just about programming and powerlifting and bodybuilding. So right now I'm power building. I am 14 weeks out currently from my deadlift only meet. Matt and I are flying to Texas to actually do it's Josh Bryant and his brother's meet called the Pig Iron Classic, and it's at the same time as the Ronnie Coleman Classic. So we weigh in actually at Metroflex Gym, which is awesome. I'm so excited to go. They have like a mural of Jesus up there, like tons of Bible verses. Like it's super hardcore gym, and that's where Ronnie Coleman trains out of. So it's amazing. I'm so excited to go. So Matt's doing bench only. I'm doing deadlift only. So right now my deadlift training is more powerlifting. Like I'm right now, it's still kind of higher volume, and then as we get closer, we'll taper. But then the rest of my training is very high volume, very high intensity, higher frequency for my lagging body parts, and so yeah, it's like very much every workout makes me feel like death, but I love it, and I'm super excited. Putting on size, putting on strength, and this is a really long video. If there's anything else I missed, just like ask me more questions about me, I guess, and I'm sure you'll find out more as I post videos. So yeah, this is me, girl behind the Instagram. All right, follow me on Instagram at CassidyCFit and subscribe to my videos. All right, bye guys.